So we choose the mystery, we choose the world we wanted to be in, and slowly we elaborated from that.
We know what we want. And then from there, we have great artists and some of the best in the world that come in and put all their magic to the sauce, you know.
Hello, Louise Allaire is show conceptor, librettist, composer, lyricist, producer, and entrepreneur. Over the years, she has acquired an international reputation that makes her a highly sought-after creator in the entertainment business. She is the writer of the original concept, book, music, and lyrics for the multi-billion-dollar franchise from 20th Century Fox, the arena spectacular Ice Age Live, A Mammoth Adventure, with her colleague Martin Lord Ferguson. Ice Age Live has broken attendance records with over 3 million spectators. Martin Lord Ferguson is a Canadian show creator, producer, sound engineer, scriptwriter, composer, and lyricist. His credits include the Nut Job Live and Friends, as well as world-renowned Cirque du Soleil shows. In our conversation today, we discuss the work behind the upcoming production of Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold, coming to the Temple Theater in downtown Saginaw, Michigan on March 25th, 2022. Welcome, Ella and Martin. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast here. We are all excited at the Temple Theater to host Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold on March 25th. I wanted to reach out to you both and learn a little bit more about your creative lives and how we came to sort of this point of hosting this show and how it was created. So maybe each of you could just take a minute to describe a little bit of your creative journey in the theater and creating the parts that make a story for live production.
Oh, that's a long question. Usually it takes more than a minute to answer because we've been fortunate to be in this industry for 25 years. And I'd say the last 20 years, very active. I for myself, started, being really, really involved as a music producer in the early 2000s. And then we moved on to Cirque du Soleil. So that was our first big break in the industry because we, right off the bat started working on the biggest shows in the world in Las Vegas. I was the music producer and Ella was also in the music department with me for Ka in Las Vegas, which was one of the biggest shows that was ever made. We had 5,000 speakers in the theater and we had to write this huge epic score that still transcends today. And from there, we've been consulting on Olympics, we've done film, and one of the genres that's always come back to us is musicals. We absolutely adore both musicals, and we wanted to be more involved in that side of the aspect of the business, and that's when we started writing musicals. And one of the things that we discovered during our journey is that we felt that the family musicals, which is not necessarily kiddie musical, but really like a family musical, like some of the Disney musicals that we have on Broadway, there was just not enough of that genre in the industry. So we really started working on creating, amazing stories built out of brands for different studios.
As far as I'm concerned, my journey started mostly when I was a child because I grew up in a music family. My father was a musician, a composer, a university teacher in music. So as a child, I was already playing music, listening to classical jazz, musical theater. My mother was a big fan of the American musical theater. So as a child, I was watching all the musical with my mom. So that's how it started and how this first passion about musical, being into the world of musicals started. And then, of course, my studies, I went to the conservatory and the university. And finally, I started writing music for children play when I was in my 20s, and I was the pianist. I was accompanying the comedians, and I was really touring with the crew. And slowly after that, I started writing more songs, more story. And I met Martin through this project in Las Vegas. And we started writing also music for the Bellagio Hotel and Casino. And, we had other collaboration with Los Angeles ABM Music. We got an agent, and it's just, more and more bloomed. And we had a big opportunity in 2011 when we met with Jim Danopoulos, who was the CEO of the 20th Century Fox. And we had this opportunity to adapt the three first film of Ice Age. And Ice Age was already a major, film and a smash hit. But that's where we really went further into creating the concept of a show, the full show, the story, a new story, creating even new character in those existing brand, and integrating acrobatics, interactive video. So we did, the Ice Age was ice, the air, and the earth.
It was a live touring show.
Yeah, it was a live touring show that toured for 4 years and a half, and it was translated in 12 languages. So it was a great success. And then we did another project, The Nut Job, which film featured Will Arnett and Katherine Heigl and Jackie Chan. And eventually we got the rights to adapt Scooby-Doo. And Scooby-Doo was a very interesting journey because it was there for the last 50 years. It was such an iconic brand who evolved a lot since the beginning. So maybe I'm going to leave some space for me.
No. Yeah. I think you've nailed it. I mean, we started a relationship with Warner Brothers Studios about 6 years ago. I would say it's pandemic. You always have to go. How many years minus 2? Always in your mind.
A little time warp.
So yeah, about 7 years ago,
2015.
Yeah, 6-7 years ago, we started this relationship with Warner, and Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold is the first endeavor in the projects that we are doing with them. We're very proud of the work. It's absolutely a fabulous show. And the next one after that is going to be Looney Tunes. So we're really happy.
Well, let's talk for a minute about Scooby-Doo, and maybe describe some of the process you go through when you're developing a show of this grandeur. I mean, when you have all the parts, you have music, you have the characters, you have the puppeteering, the lights, the whole 9 yards, and any one of those things could, in a way, stand on its own and be a project on its own. But here you are, you're taking all these parts and putting them together to produce a single show. Do you go through the character development first, or have the music first, or look at the story first? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the first thing is to understand well what the brand is about. So first, we started listening to season 1, 1969, season 2, watch the film, also understand the way, what made this brand so great, why the audience was connecting to it, and the solving the mystery, 2 guys, 2 girls, how they were interacting. So that was like the first process. And first thing was after we understood the brand, we sort of wrote a concept, like a general concept. What is this show going to be about? Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. And we're going to solve a mystery. That's for sure. We're going to solve a new mystery. That was the first thing. So we choose the mystery. We choose the world we wanted to be in. And slowly we elaborated from that skeleton, if you want.
Yes. And after that, to answer your question on how do we get all the departments in a show this complicated to work, is we really work a bit like animation film. So in animation movie, way before you have the the final drawings that are so beautiful on film, you have a storyboard artist that comes in, and what we do is we temp the music. We actually speak every line of dialogue, and we have a storyboard artist that comes in and draws maybe 200, 300, 400 drawings of the show. And then we kind of create a timeline with that, so that when we get to the other artists, the costume department, the animation department, because we're very video heavy in the show, the acrobatics department and everything. They have a sort of a map that's very well explained, so that they go, okay, I know where I'm going. I'm actually following this cartoon and with music. So that's how we work it. We temp everything. So maybe even like a year and a half in advance, the show is actually like, pretty much to 1 or 2 minutes, 3 minutes tight. What we know what we want, and then from there we have great artists and some of the best in the world that come in and put all their magic to the sauce.
Along those lines, there's a number of very technical elements to this show, and I'd love to hear more about how some of the technical elements help move the show from your imagination onto the stage.
Which technical are you thinking about?
So, for example, the video projection, how that translates from the imagination and the drawings and connects to the stage itself.
Well, I think the answer is in twofolds. The first part is that the video really helps the audience be inside a cartoon. So we really try to make it as an experience, as a person in the room. You really feel like you're in the Scooby-Doo world, really, really. And the second thing that video enables us is, contrary to traditional sets, we're able to create many, many, many worlds and go from one world to the other. And one thing we've discovered in the shows that we are doing is that the transitions sometimes from a song to another scene can be some of the most fun parts in the show, because that's where we can let the technology shine, and how the actors integrate with the projection. I have an example in Scooby-Doo where we have Shaggy and Scooby that need to go from one place to the other, and they're actually going to fall into a pit, and the actors had to rehearse for many weeks on knowing where they are in the video, because they're actually interacting directly with the video. The video's playing around them. So there is no blackouts in our show. It's always moving. It's a moving part between 18 to 20 worlds during the show.
That's an incredible thing to think about. One of my favorite movies is Mary Poppins, and there's a scene in Mary Poppins where there's an animation and the live action is interacting with the animation, and that always as a kid fascinated me. And here you've taken that idea of interacting with video just to a whole new level, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, that scene from Mary Poppins is memorable, and it's penguin and
it's a good example, because if you remember at the time they would not see the penguins, they would not see the thing. It was all done right afterwards. So the big difference nowadays is that the actors are actually living this environment around them. They're seeing the animation, and they have to learn to interact with it, and there's a many places in the show where this is our third show that we're using this technology, and every time we're pushing the boundaries and saying, how about we try to do it this way and this way? And I'm still astonished, having seen the Scooby show for so many times, how beautiful some of these transitions are, and how you're going from one place to the other. And I think it was also based on the new I call it the new iPad generation. So teens and young ones are now used to you can zoom in your iPad with your two fingers and things like that. And when we were playing around with video, and in the meetings we went, okay, so we have a keypad here, but we can't see it. It's on the door. But how about we zoom on it, and do like things that kids would have naturally the instinct of doing. And so because of its video, we can do it. And then suddenly the Mystery Machine Gang are bigger are smaller than the keypad, but that's what video and all this magic of video interaction gives us.
In terms of some of the challenges that you faced when you were putting this show together, I'd love to hear maybe what those challenges might have been and ways that you've been able to overcome them.
Challenges, yes, there were many. From where to start? I think probably the number one challenge was COVID, because we were March 13, Friday the 13th, 2020, we were loading our trucks when, Live Nation shut down and the whole world shut down. So we had like this incredible big show about to go on tour, and like we had to leave. I don't know if you remember, but we had to leave everything. So for 6 months, the costume, the set, no matter, we came back, I think, 6 months later, and people, their last cup of coffee was still there
on the table.
So that was definitely a painful moment for live entertainment in general.
Yeah.
If we talk about something, the challenge more specific to the show,
getting the tone, eh? Getting finding the right way of telling the story. I mean, this is a brand that's been around for 50 years. This is also a brand that's been evolving for 50 years. I think Daphne is a good example of where she was in 1969 to where she is today. There's been an evolution in every character. So getting the tone right.
Well, one of the challenge was the character himself, Scooby-Doo. Because when we built the character, there's this muscle suit which is very fitted, for the actor. So there's a whole performance to be done while playing the character, and this is a substantial costume. So that was probably one of the part. Also, those were not challenges, but opportunity, I would say, when we work also with Frank Welker, who recorded the voice for Scooby-Doo. He's been doing Scooby-Doo for the last 52 years now. And so it was an honor and a privilege that he wanted to do the voice for the show. So that was a highlight, I'd say. It's not a challenge, it was more of an highlight.
Yeah, it was more of a highlight.
But maybe a challenge also for the actor playing, with such a great actor.
We got Frank to sing.
We got him to sing.
Yeah, he had never sung before. So we got him to sing. It's a musical, so we had to sing. So that was a lot of fun.
With many of the artists I talk to, they usually have a project that they're doing, but they also have projects that they're working on. Do you have sort of a vision for what shows you might want to pursue in the future that you can share with us? Certainly no trade secrets, but I think that it would be interesting to hear the way that you're continuing on.
Well, our next big project after Scooby-Doo is definitely Looney Tunes. It's a major honor for us that Warner has asked us to write this musical. It's the first time in 90 years that they've asked anybody to do that. They've done a Bugs Bunny on Ice in the 80s and a couple of things, but never a full-on musical. And so when they asked us, could you do Looney Tunes? It's a big thing, and it's going to be an amazing show, just like Scooby-Doo. It's gonna be an incredible show. So that's going to occupy us for the next 2 and something year to bring this musical to life. Yeah, I think that's our next big project. Aside from that, we're working on a
few confidential projects, but one that maybe I'd like to say that I've been working on also part-time for 10 years. It was It's an inspiration from French series, and we have this long-term project to do a digital series with it. It's a musical also. So, but I could say that it's a period piece, and it's something that we'll be looking forward also to share. That it's more adult than just family,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely music is in the air.
Music and musicals.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing the work that you've done and the vision that you have and bringing that to stages. It's just wonderful to hear the enthusiasm and passion that you have for the creative work that you're doing to connect audiences with characters and with each other.
Yes, I think one of the most important thing that I would love your listeners to come back with is this Scooby-Doo show is for the entire family. It's really from 1-year-old to 101-year-old. It's really made so that just like a great animation film or something like that. It's made so that people of all ages have a good time. And that's what we've been seeing in our shows. And I think that's the message that we want to send out to everybody is that don't be afraid. I mean, in Florida, I had one night, I think it was 80% adults that came to see the show and they were smiling coming out. And then we've had rooms with young kids and the kids are so quiet and listening like it's the first time they're discovering what a musical is. So that's really what we were aiming for. And I think that's what we're seeing with the rooms. So,
well, again, thank you both, and we'll look forward to the show on March 25th.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Temple Arts Podcast. Please consider subscribing to the podcast and making a donation to the arts through SaginawArtMuseum.org or TempleTheater.com. This will allow us to continue to bring enriching program to Saginaw and beyond.